Hey, how's it going? I am back. I wanted to do a very short video, this will be short, I promise, talking about the X-H2 and the 40 megapixel sensor. If you've been following along on YouTube, quite a few people have put their thoughts out, looked at some sample images and found that maybe it's not everything it's cracked up to be. I'm an owner of the X-H2s as well as the X-H2. I'm filming on the X-H2 today. This is the X-H2s here with the 30mm macro on there. I love both cameras. The X-H2's, I think, a really strong camera. I think the 40 megapixel resolution is not GFX territory, right? But it certainly is a great camera. I do enjoy the extra resolution. I don't think that it gives you this fidelity boost that you might think it does, but I'm here to show you some images of what I've experienced. I haven't experienced the softness and the weird stuff that other people have, but maybe it's the lenses, maybe it's the shooting style, I don't know. Let's take a look. So jumping into Lightroom here, on the left we have the X-H2s file, and on the right we have the X-H2. Both are 1/20th of a second, f1.4, ISO 800. Identical images. They're both taken on the Viltrox 13mm lens, which there's a lot of debate going on with Viltrox. They're saying that their new lens is, they're really touting that 75 1.2 that just got announced on Christmas. That lens is actually made for the 40 megapixel sensor, so that's kind of alluding to the fact that it can resolve all 40 megapixels. I'm of the assumption that where like the 10 to 24 Fuji lens definitely has a huge struggle with the 40 megapixels in terms of resolving, and there's some folks on YouTube that have shown that. I think that the Viltrox 13 is kind of in the middle. I don't think it's actually resolving fully crisp all 40 megapixels because there's a little bit of softness, and I think Ian Worth did a great video using that lens showing that there are some issues with it. But let's take a look. I know people hate pixel peeping, but the only way to kind of understand what's going on here is to pixel peep. So at first glance, they look like identical images, right? If we go in to 200%, well, first let's go to 100%. So first thing you notice is that the image on the right is bigger. A lot of people have talked about this. Yes, it's because there's more resolution there. But if we try to sync them at a similar size, let's try to do that. Let's uncheck this. I'd say that's pretty close. So if we, kind of take a look here now, or I guess that does it. I haven't played with Lightroom in this for a little while. But if we look at just both images, they're pretty much identical. Again, we're at about 49.9% zoom. So you can see what I'm really looking at, my eyes here, because it looks identical, right? I'm looking out on the Herschel logo there, kind of in this region. It looks a little bit crisper here. Same exact autofocus on both. Camera's exact same spot, so all of that is kind of out the window. If it focused differently, it did not. Yeah, I see a little bit more detail there. So if we're gonna go in 100%, let's go in 100% here as well. And let's even zoom in a little bit more here. If I match them up, I mean, I see more detail on the X-H2 that's on the right. I mean, I do see more detail. Whether that's worth purchasing the camera or not, I'm not here to talk about that. There is more detail there. Where is it? It's in a very small area on that. So at the end of the day, you say, well, it's not worth it for me. I agree. Stick with your X-T4, stick with your X-T3. I've talked about this in videos before. Like, they're amazing cameras. You will enjoy them. There is more detail. And again, this is on the Viltrox 13mm. That, again, my theory, I don't really have data to prove this, but this is one data point. I don't think it's really optimized for the 40 megapixel sensor. Let's look at another set of images here. Let's go back out on both. So X-H2s on the left, X-H2 on the right. This is now the Fuji approved lens, a 23mm LMWR. This is the new one. You'll see some lighting differences on these two cameras when I'm using the native lenses. I don't know what's going on there, but I noticed that too. This is my InReach 2, which I love. I do a lot of hiking, so it's a lot of fun. But I want to focus on the top of the antenna here, where it says Iridium connected. So first thing, again, you'll notice, I think I'm actually at two different zoom levels here. Yeah, so I'm kind of where I was before. So we're trying to match them up. Let's zoom in a little bit more here. Yeah, that's about right. I'm looking at the top of the antenna, and I see more detail on the right. Same exact focus point. Same exact everything. You can even see the depth of field is almost identical if you look at the Garmin logo here. I see more detail, right? Is it enough to buy the camera? No, but there is more detail there. right? So if we say, oh, there's not enough detail and there's this and that, I don't know if that's fair. Just my thoughts. You know, elsewhere in the image, you'll see a lot of the same. Let's look at another set of images here. So at full glance, pretty much the same. I will say on the X-H2, I've had to do, or the X-H2s, I'm sorry, on the left, I had to do some color correction. The colors were way off. Same white balance settings, so just part of shooting a scene, I guess. So you'll see a little bit more warm color here. Let's zoom in to this. What do you see? Same exact thing? Yeah, maybe. I do see more detail in the X-H2. Very, very, very small amount. Almost nobody would notice unless we're sitting here on a YouTube video talking about it. So on the Peak Design logo here, I do see some more detail. I see more detail of the kind of dust that was on there. And again, same focus. The focus isn't different here, and you can tell that by the strap here. I do see more detail in the kind of edges here. On the Fujifilm logo itself, on this little patch here, I do see a little bit more detail here, but it's negligible, right? Yeah, same thing, but more detail in X-H2. All right, let's go to a different lens here. This is what is this lens? Do I have it up here? No, I put it away. It is the 7 Artisans 35mm f/0.95 lens. Really cheap lens. I was really curious to see if it would resolve 40 megapixels. Obviously, it probably doesn't. But same focus here, same image. I wanted you to pay attention to the headphones here. And if we zoom both in, quite a big difference here, right? Maybe there's a focus difference a little bit because it is a manual focus lens, but I had it exactly on the same notch on the barrel, so it's hard to say. I'm not an optics expert, but you know, certainly there's significant more detail here. Now, if we zoom out here and say, okay, well, maybe the focus was off. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's more focused here on this one than it is here. Regardless, I am seeing more detail here, right? So maybe not the best example, but certainly, I mean, side by side, again, on the lens, it was exactly the same. Who knows what's going on there, but I even see the depth of the field is really similar. So more detail in X-H2. So that's all I wanted to show you. It's a quick video. I know it's controversial. I do think the X-H2 does have more detail. I think it is resolving 40 megapixels on the right lenses. I think you have to have one of the new LM lenses to see that. I showed on my last video an image I took on the 30mm macro here, and this lens resolves 40. I can tell you that because I had a really incredible kind of plant, and you'll see it on my last video, my favorite photos of the year, and you can really tell the image quality is there. I encourage you to subscribe, like the video if you like what you saw. Come join me on Flickr. I'm doing a lot of discussions with Fujifilm folks on Flickr, sharing my photos. Some of the best photographers that I've seen are on there posting daily, so come join us. I'll have my link below, and thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.